Sometimes we get confused and we think that Jesus is a nice guy. But he requires a lot of us. He requires a lot of us. He's more than just being a nice guy. He's loving, yes, but he demands. He demands a lot. In fact, the price of discipleship is not a lot, it's everything. He says, whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. These are strong, strong words. And Jesus is saying, if Jesus were only a human person, then of course he would be, we'd look at this and we'd raise our eyebrows and say, you must be crazy. If I were to say to you, unless you love me more than your parents and your children, you're not worthy of me, probably the best reaction you could have is like, yeah, that's right, I'm not worthy of you, see ya. But Jesus is God. He's not just a human person. He is God. And he says to us, to follow me requires everything. Not because God is trying to grasp at our lives, but he's trying to show us it's only when we give ourselves away, it's only when we commit ourselves fully to him that we will find what we are looking for. So often we go grasping after the things of this world, even relationships in this world, and we put those as the most important thing in our lives. And then, like Bono will say, and I still haven't found what I'm looking for. That it's only when we give ourselves completely to God that we find that fulfillment, that peace, that joy that we're looking for. And it doesn't mean that we don't love parents and children and the people around us. No, of course we do. But we have to put things in proper order. And when we put God first, the amazing thing is, when we love God first, he now gives us the ability to love the people around us even more. When we put him first, now we will have a true ability to love parents and children as God is calling us to love them, not simply with an affection, but with a self-dying love. I think this is what it is where Jesus says, whoever does not take up his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. Of course, the cross is a sign of contradiction. It is a sign of both torture and death, but also because Jesus took it on himself. It is the greatest sign of life and love. And so by what Jesus did on the cross, and he's saying, if you take up your cross, he's saying, this is what love looks like. This is what love looks like. It's dying to self, self-gifting. He says, you give yourself fully to me, loving me first. Then you will be able to love the people in your family, in your relations, so much more. Because you will learn that it's not about what can you do for me or how you make me feel, but rather how I can die to myself for your good. This is hard. This is hard. In fact, I'd say it's impossible without the grace of Almighty God moving in our lives. But God says, I will give you all you need. Come to me. So let us ask Almighty God for that grace, that we may make him first in our lives, that we may love him above all others and have the courage to take up our crosses, so that then we can love parents and children and spouses and friends and work relations and everyone else as God calls us to.